How is everyone? I hope you're all well. You're amazing, amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. Guess what? It's only gone and been Tuesday, innit? Is it Tuesday? No, it's Wednesday. It's unlike me, innit? Wednesday, the midweek hump. And we all love a midweek hump. Anyway, you're looking absolutely amazing, by the way. And I'm going to get straight into meat and potatoes because this is a bit of a more of a tongue in cheek video, really, right? Because I bet, a load of people send me videos. You always do it. Thank you very much. Not always, thank you very much, because some of the videos that you make me watch, I wish I'd never seen them. I'm going to be touching on some other videos. I know Drip Drop did a video, and I'm going to be talking about that very soon when I actually get the time to watch the entire thing. It's been like, even though it's one video, I've been doing it like it's a series where you get to watch it over the course of like 5 days because I'm busy. Feel sorry for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed and smash that like button. We're on our way to 100k, baby, 100k. But anyway, what are we talking about? We're talking about psychopaths because some of you had reached out and you was like, you got to watch this video. You got to watch this. I'm not going to call the channels out. I'm not going to say who they are, but all there is there's channels that are about talking about the Idaho 4 that talks about Bryan Kohberger being a psychopath. And later on today, I'm going to be talking about Steve Gonsalves, by the way, because I don't know whether Steve Gonsalves is purposefully trying to poison the entire Idaho and lying. Something's going on there. Something's seriously going on. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But psychopaths, right? It's very easy to point the finger and say someone's a psychopath. I was reading about the traits of a psychopath, which I'll put on the screen so you can see them. How many of you read through them traits of a psychopath and think, fuck me, my kid's a psycho? My kids are psychopath. I'm telling you now. I was literally ticking them off. I was going, yeah, that's one. That's one. I'm not. I'm sleeping with one eye open from now on. Sleeping with one eye open because my children are psychopaths. Bryan Kohberger, though, is Bryan Kohberger a psychopath? What would lead people to believe that Bryan Kohberger is a psychopath? I'll tell you what would lead people to believe he's a psychopath, and that is the fact that he's being accused of doing this heinous crime. Because I think it would be right to think that there's a possibility that the person who did this crime is a psychopath. Or they got that angry over something, some situation, that they just flipped their fucking lid and went ballistic. And the rest is history. But psychopathic, I can understand. You could think that whoever did this was a psychopath. Bryan Kohberger, though, where does Bryan Kohberger come into psychopath apart from the accusation? Whoa. Changed my mic, by the way, which I'm not used to it being there. Changed my mic again. I got more mics than Michael Jackson. I love Michael Jackson. I like his music anyway. I don't literally love Michael Jackson. That would be odd. But I like his music. But anyway, more mics than Michael Jackson. Yeah, new mic. I'd have to make sure that I don't press that top bit because it keeps muting itself. I've done that a few times. But anyway, no. So apart from the fact that he's been accused of this heinous crime, this heinous act, what evidence do people have in order to say Bryan Kohberger is a psychopath? Definitely a psychopath. Is there anything? Let me know down below what there is. Because let's just go through some of the things that would seemingly be what people are accusing him of doing. From the start, let's go to the top. Stalking. It's not true. Ain't true. So the stalking accusation of Bryan Kohberger isn't true. And what you'll see as we go through this list and ticking stuff off, you'll realise something, and that is that by the time you've removed things that simply haven't been confirmed as fact, you're not left with a lot. So stalking's gone out the window. And because you remove stalking, what are you left with? You're left with some comments about his school, that he was a bit of a harsh marker. Does mark, because I'll tell you what, if marking your work harsh and being a bit of a prick as a teacher or a teaching assistant makes you a psychopath, and I don't think I've ever known a teacher or teaching assistant who hasn't been a psychopath. I don't think that has been the case. I think every single teacher that I have obviously been a psychopath then. Do you know what I mean? He was somebody who clearly is ASD, or that's what they're alluding to. And if that's the point, then he is going to want things done a specific way. He's going to want it done a specific way. You do want a teacher or a teaching assistant, someone who is assisting your learning to push you. And if they think that you can do better, to make you do better, they are the teachers that will make you become more successful. That's not psychotic. That's just being a decent fucking teacher. Do you know what I mean? Have we had anything else? Well, we know that he's supposedly, what they're claiming is that he'd written this thing online about not feeling anything. Well, that's never even been proven to be Bryan Kohberger who actually wrote that, I don't think. Not 100%. I could be wrong, but I don't think that has been found to have 100% been. If it has, because we have gone through an abundance of stuff, so I apologize if I'm wrong, but even if he has, that is pretty much telling you the life of the majority of teenagers out there today. The majority of kids growing up, their hormones flooding in. And that girl who you used to look at and just think dickhead, you're now looking at and think, oh, she's nice. Ooh, she's nice. She's nice as well. She's nice. Realise everyone's not. All of the females are nice. Sometimes you're not looking at females, you think the others are nice, to be politically correct. Do you know what I mean? As long as people aren't hurting you, it don't matter what they do. That's how you should be in it. Don't even get me started. Did you know, as a side note, there's just been a toddler, I think 4 years old. Is that still classed as a toddler? I don't know. Kicked out of school for being sexist. She basically told another kid, not sexist, that's the wrong terminology. You'll tell me down below. This kid tells this other kid, you're a girl. The kid who is a girl, again, we're talking about 4-year-olds. She don't like being called a girl, even though she is one. So this kid is kicked out of school, kicked out of nursery. That's the UK for you. You can't even be 4 and tell a girl they're a girl. But what I'm trying to get at is hormones. All of this stuff flooding into you. And you don't know your identity. You don't know what you want to do. You feel like you're nothing. The world is happening and you are insignificant. Don't mean you're going to go and kill someone. Now, it don't mean that you're not going to go and kill someone, because people do kill people. Do you know what I mean? But what I'm saying is Bryan Kohberger, there's nothing specific to Bryan Kohberger that we've heard. We haven't heard that Bryan Kohberger cut a cat's head off and wore it as a buck and bobble hat and ran around his garden with his nuts and bolts out. Do you know what I mean? You ain't heard that, have you? You haven't heard that he used to run around dressed in women's clothing. Do you know? There is none of that. He once went on a fucking Tinder date with someone and he tried to tickle him. Fucking hell, lock him up, mate. He's nuts. Come on, look. If you're going to do videos, you're going to cover this crime, and you're going to sit there and you're going to say Bryan Kohberger's a psychopath, back the fucker up with stuff that just ain't a generalisation of kids growing up today, or stuff that are based on a possibility or a maybe. He might have done this crime. He might not have done this. Do you know what I mean? He might have tickled someone once. He might have called some girl or tried to hit on some girl in a club and got a fucking cuff around his head and told to fuck off. Do you know what I mean? Don't make you a psycho. It makes you human. Do you know what I mean? We're seeing a lot of guilters trying to bolster Bryan Kohberger's guilt by filling it with fluff. There's too much fluff. And you just got to stick to the bare bones of it, because there's so much more that we may learn later that ain't there now. Because what is there now? There's nothing. There's mainstream media narrative. I noticed that they didn't touch the fucking Sahara stuff. Since I'm recording this, they still ain't touched it. Not with a fucking bars pole. In fact, I saw one thing I think was from New York Post, which was listing the red flags of Bryan Kohberger. So, we're fucking just a joke, innit? Anyway, let me know. Do you believe that Bryan Kohberger is a psycho? Do you think that he is the next occupant of the Bates Motel? Do you think he's got people buried under his bed and stuff? Or do you think that it's just people who, they want Bryan Kohberger to be guilty, and because of that mentality, they're just willing to say whatever they want, do whatever they want, and not think anything else other than he's a lunatic, psychopathic nutcase, and he did this crime and deserved to die? I will catch you all later today. Yeah, love you all. I might even go live. Keep your eyes peeled. I might go live. Oh.